What's going on, gang? What's going on? It's your boy Phantm Phuego, Phanmphuego, and you are now tuned into the news, views, previews, and reviews with just a twist of his ghetto point of view. Ooh. Guys, as always, any questions, comments, critiques, criticisms, you know where to reach us. His ghetto point of view at gmail.com. His ghetto point of view at gmail.com. HISGHETTOPOINT. His ghetto point of view at gmail.com. Thank you guys so much as always for rocking, vibing. And as I always say, you could be anywhere else in the world, but you're giving your time to our broadcast, our program, creating this family and building up this team over here. And I truly do appreciate that, man. We a community, we a family. And yeah, man, this show is for the people. Like, I truly do believe that. I truly do mean that from the bottom of my heart, man. And if it wasn't for me having such an amazing audience, there would be no show to speak of anyway. So I really do appreciate every single time y'all take the time out to rock and vibe and listen. Please continue to send in all your questions, comments, critiques, and criticisms, your likes, your dislikes, your loves, your hates. You can also find us always on IG, HGPOV Show, HGPOV Podcast, His Ghetto Point of View. Yeah, there's a couple of social media pages. If you just look up His Ghetto Point of View, HGPOV, His Ghetto Point of View Podcast. You'll see some things come up. I'm blessed and I'm fortunate. And yeah, man, we grind it. We putting it together. We making it happen one day at a time. How are you guys, though? Shit is crazy, right? Things are interesting out here, to say the least. But you know, we strive, we stay strong, we stay focused, we keep persevering, we keep acting out our life's work and our missions and our dreams. We keep focused on tomorrow. We keep focused on a brighter day. We keep focused on a better path, because that's what we're here for. You dig me? That's what we're here for. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to jump into the first story. It's going to be a fun show, gang. Let's get to it. As always, much love and shouts to AJ's Kitchen, AJSKITCHINN, AJ's Kitchen at gmail.com. Also can check them out on Instagram and Twitter. AJ's Kitchen, happiness served, order up. Always blessing me with the amazing vegan foods. Shout to Grandma's Goodies for always dropping off the swag bag with a bunch of different goodies in it. I can't. Such a smorgasbord cookies. They're vegan cookies. They're vegan fruit snacks, vegan lollipops. I mean, they drop off a plethora of stuff for the team. You know, we appreciate them so much. Check them out on Instagram at Grandma's Goodies with a Z. Grandma's Goodies with a Z. They're proudly serving the NYC area. I think you can get them for catering gigs and stuff as well. They're really dope. Grandma's Goodies with a Z. Check them out. Much love, AJ's Kitchen. Much love, Grandma's Goodies. And as always, gang, y'all know I also do audio engineering work, sound design, Foley art, etc., as well as voiceover work. Anything you need in the audio spectrum, that's my game. EQ is life 247 at gmail.com. EQ is life 247 at gmail.com. The letter E, the letter Q is life, LIFE 247 at gmail.com. And you can also check out my EQ is life series on YouTube, where I go over a bunch of tips and tricks for using one of the best and most prominent tools in the world of music production, the EQ or the equalizer. It's a dope show. Let's take this break. Be right back. This is His Ghetto Point of View. Yeah, we here. Yeah. So it's a beautiful hoops season. So, we have to talk a little hoops in addition to all of the amazing action going on in the NBA. FIBA is doing a lot of their tournaments. I've been checking out the 3-on-3s, and I'll be watching some of the 5-on-5 stuff in a few days. So I really like international play. And I like to learn about some of the international players and see how they stack up. And, man, there's some good hoopers all around the world. I'll leave it at that. Sometimes they be busting America behind, like our men's team. Boo, boo, boo. Like, first of all, why would we not field a better, you know what? Better is subjective. Why would we not field a team of NBA players with more NBA level games on their resumes? Because I'm sure some of those dudes probably play G League, all that. I'm talking about playing in the Winter League, in the Senior League. Why there's so many players who could have played that are like the 10th to 15th guy on a lot of rosters that did not make the playoffs. But instead of strapping on that red, white, and blue across your chest and playing in 3-on-3, like the WNBA sent superstars to play in the 3-on-3 and 5-on-5. Why is the men team so adverse to doing that? Like, I know players who could use that level of exposure to help their brands. So why are their agents not even considering this as an option? Like, it was such a good tournament. The right players who play that street ball style of basketball, who were already eliminated from the playoffs, especially younger players, could have went out there and went crazy and built up their name and a brand while playing in a FIBA tournament and getting national exposure. Why would that be something? Listen, I understand injuries is real. Them overseas teams play very hard and aggressive. You do risk injury every time you go out there, and it's like, why risk injury when you get paid so much? And a lot of the NBA teams may prohibit the senior teams from even playing in so many of these tournaments. So I understand all of that, and it may not have been all of these players' fault. Some players may have said, "Hey, I want to play in that," and they was like, "Nah, you're good, you can't." So there's that part of it too, and whatever the legal issues there would be with them trying to play, with the contracts that they have, the insurance that their contracts provides on on their injuries, etc. So I get all of that, but this is FIBA. This is for qualifying to play in the Olympics. We could send over some young boys. We could send over a team of 5 young. Man, the girls be making the boys look bad sometimes. That's all I'm gonna say. The girls make the boys look bad. They gotta risk the same amount. They gotta put their bodies on the line and in jeopardy as well, and for far less pay most of the time. So the girls be making the boys look real bad. They be looking like they're really patriotic and about the USA, and the dudes be looking like a lot of these dudes be looking selfish, man. But again, it could be the contracts. But I think a higher level player could force his way onto the tournament and be like, I don't care about my contract. Y'all not going to stop me from playing. Or they could put the Jordan clause in their contract so they could play whenever the hell they wanted. Not sure if it's still called the Jordan clause in exact wording. But pretty much the Jordan clause was the clause that said, I'm such a hooper, you got to let me be able to play everywhere, all the time. If I want to play at Rucker Park, a la KD, Kobe Bryant. If I want to play in a Gauchos tournament, at Gauchos one day, if I want to play anywhere, if I want to play at Hoops in the Sun, if I want to play at some of the LA tournaments, some of the Vegas tournaments, some of the Miami tournaments, etc., etc. If I want to play in the Seattle Pro-Ams with Jamal Crawford and them, like, you gotta let me. Shout out to Jamal Crawford. That dude is probably his handles is still probably the best on the planet right now, this very day. Probably dribbling the ball behind his back, between his legs with his elbows. You know what I'm saying? His fucking elbows. That dude is just too much of a demon. Anyway, In NBA news, gang, Jason Kidd claims he withdrew from Trailblazers coaching search because of Damian Lillard endorsement. What type of nonsense? That doesn't make any sense to me. Okay. When Damian Lillard publicly endorsed Jason Kidd for the open Portland Trailblazers head coaching job, it may have seemed like a foregone conclusion that the Lakers assistant would be hired for the gig. After all, NBA stars get what they want, right? But I think there's a flip side to that. I think Damian Lillard is endorsing Jason Kidd for the job when he fully knows he's leaving anyway. He fully knows he's probably leaving anyway. So I don't think Damian Lillard or CJ McCollum will even be there to be coached by Jason Kidd. And it'll be a young rebuilding team that Jason Kidd would have to coach, which is not always the worst. But when you would do it like Jason Kidd, you ready to coach a championship level team. You've already helped develop a guy like Giannis, and you've developed Chris Middleton. You've shown you can develop some players. You're ready to coach a championship level roster at this point. Article continues, in this league, though, things are never quite that simple. Instead, Kidd has withdrawn his name from consideration and went on record with Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN about why he was doing so. Portland's a first-class organization and will have great candidates for its head coaching job, but I've decided not to be one of them, Kidd told ESPN. Whoever they choose will have big shoes to fill from Terry Stotts. Kidd was ultimately uncomfortable with the idea of pursuing the opening after Blazers star Damian Lillard publicly called for his hiring within hours of Stott's departure on Friday night. The public nature of Lillard's endorsement, telling Yahoo Sports that Jason Kidd is the guy I want, left Kidd feeling he would put both Lillard and Portland's success in an awkward circumstance should he pursue the opening. Now, maybe that is the actual reason for the public withdrawal of a man who was so thirsty for a head coaching job that he was getting linked to the opening at UNLV in addition to basically every NBA gig, but that doesn't seem entirely likely. So let's theorize a bit. And to be absolutely clear, this is not reporting. I'm just trying to read between the lines. There are a multitude of other reasons Kidd could have decided to take his name out of the hat for the Blazers. For one, maybe he heard the Blazers weren't interested and did the old "you can't fire me, I quit" maneuver. That's very possible. It's definitely very possible. After all, he wasn't on their initial list of candidates the team leaked to Woj. In the aftermath of the Terry Stotts firing, and subsequent reports made it seem like the team wanted Chauncey Billups while Lillard was pushing clearly for Jason Kidd. Alternately, it's possible that Kidd and the Blazers wanted to avoid the predictable public backlash to his hiring in Portland. Kidd's past includes pleading guilty to spousal abuse in 2001 and a DUI charge in 2012, charges the Lakers were criticized for ignoring prior to hiring him as an assistant, and issues that reportedly played a role in him only being named as an assistant coach. That anonymous moralizing from the team rings somewhat hollow when the Lakers made Kidd the highest paid assistant in the league and one they valued highly enough to essentially force onto prospective head coaching candidate staffs. But I digress. Kidd's past is something our sister site, Blazers Edge, had already went all out in scrutinizing and judging the team for overlooking when hiring for such a public-facing leadership position. Maybe the team and Kidd just knew there was no way to sell him to Portland and decided to save themselves from having their past and present decisions so heavily spotlighted. There is also the possibility that Lillard who it's pretty clear at this point has a strong relationship with his fellow point guard from Oakland, told Kidd that he's out on the Blazers, or that Kidd heard some other way that Portland is headed for a rebuild. That's what I think is about to happen. I think that he's like, nah, he's not going to be there. If his third head coaching job went as poorly as his coup and dysfunction-filled first two, Jesus, they ain't got no love for J. Kidd. During his SB Nation article continues, during which he went below .500 overall, it's unlikely that he'd ever get another shot, so signing up for a team about to enter a full teardown may have been an unpalatable if that's what Kidd thinks is on the table. There's also at least one more option. Kidd has a history of power grabs, from his failed coup attempt with the Nets that led to his exit in Brooklyn to his taking the Milwaukee Bucks job out from under then head coach Larry Drew. This history was something that current Lakers head coach Frank Vogel says he and Kidd joked about in the past, but could be coming into play now. Because isn't the best reason for Kidd to turn down a head coaching job something he's been openly pining for in interviews, that he thinks he's the better option on, that he thinks he sees. Okay, I'm sorry. So because isn't the best reason for Kidd to turn down a head coaching job something that he's been openly pining for interviews? This is horrible writing, that he thinks a better option is on the horizon. And what job would allow him to clear the previous bar better than taking over a Lakers team with LeBron James and Jason Kidd that lost an injury-riddled first-round series and seems clearly positioned to have serious upside? Again, there is no noise or serious reporting about this yet. There was a report a few weeks ago that the Lakers plan to extend Vogel this summer as he enters the final year of his original 3-year deal, and general manager Rob Pelinka called Vogel a strong part of the team's future at exit interviews, as Vogel said he wanted to be a Laker for life, while saying Kidd had been wonderful to work with. Jason has become one of my closest friends, really a trusted advisor on my coaching staff, and someone that has just been integral to our success over the last 2 years. He should be at the top of everybody's list as that has an opening in the NBA, Vogel said on Friday, and maybe everyone is telling the truth. We have to give all the parties the benefit of the doubt here. Maybe Kidd really just didn't want to put Lillard in an awkward position. In an awkward position. And maybe Pelinka and Vogel really have grown close and want to continue working together. Sometimes, rarely, occasionally, NBA people are just honest in interviews and there are no other motives. I highly doubt that. Highly doubt that. But reading between the lines while watching all of this play out, it was hard to not to think back to something Stephen A. of ESPN said the day Vogel was hired. If there is even a modicum of success that he does not have, Jason Kidd is in the line to be the next head coach. He's already on your bench. Obviously, he can maturate himself into the situation, and that's the coach they wanted all along. Kurt Rambis wanted him as the coach. Jeannie Buss and the rest of the staff, they wanted him as the coach. They knew they couldn't sell him to the public, but for right now, Frank Vogel is the safe pick with Jason Kidd on his bench, and you can expect Jason Kidd to be the next head coach for the Lakers within 2 years. It's now been 2 years, and it's fair to say that there was a modicum of success that the Lakers did not have this season. Now, there were other factors in that failure that go far beyond Vogel. But even if one did want to replace him a year after winning a title, with both of Kidd's previous teams competing in the Eastern Conference semifinal series, that could be a double as true in the NBA Finals. It's fair to wonder if Kidd would be anywhere close to the right person to replace Vogel. Over the weeks and months to come, we'll see how the Lakers and Kidd really feel, one way or the other. Shout to Lakers. Shout to the Silver Screen and Roll and SB Nation for the interesting article. Jason Kidd should have been a head coach in this league for a long time ago. I don't give a damn if the man likes to drink. What the hell is wrong with y'all? This dude's brain is just basketball. Man, y'all need to stop. Oh, but he had a domestic violence situation. Okay. Nobody should ever be putting their hands on nobody. You understand me? Nobody. But people should also not talk to people crazy. People should also not incite violence. If you can say the president incited violence with his words, then we should also be able to hold other people who are not the president to a similar standard, because everyone's words can create the same type of energy and incitement if used in the right direction or the wrong direction, depending on how you want to look at it, to people who care enough about what they say. If y'all say that's no bet different than when Stephen A. said women got to be careful, then I apologize off the rip. But y'all got to understand, sometimes people should say things that can spark all right. And nobody is different, man. Nobody's different. So, that's just his ghetto point of view. Ooh, ooh, ooh. You know what I mean? That is just his ghetto point of view. The NBA is being hit with a Space Jam curse. Dum, dum, dum. The curse of Space Jam. If you're in the NBA and also in Space Jam, I have some bad news. With the Lakers being eliminated on Thursday night, so too went the hopes of having anyone left in the NBA playoffs set to appear in Space Jam, A New Legacy. Reddit sleuth Cornrow Kawhi first noticed the anomaly, and it's delightful. Obviously, we know that LeBron James and the star of Space Jam, A New Legacy, was knocked out after losing to the Suns. However, a large part of the reason Los Angeles couldn't keep up in the series was the groin injury to Anthony Davis that he couldn't effectively play through. So the Brow, a villain in the movie, was eliminated too. That's not all, folks. With the Blazers losing to the Nuggets, Flash, played by Damian Lillard, was also knocked out of the playoffs. Incredible individual heroics during the series weren't enough to topple the better-built Denver team, leading to another star of the movie being knocked out. Then there's Klay Thompson, who will now be forever known by his Space Jam name, Wet Fire. Wet Fire was eliminated along with the Warriors during the play-in round. Granted, the Warriors were pretty damn bad this season. I don't know about that. And lucky to make the postseason at all, but still, Wet Fire is gone. I don't know about that. I don't know if they were that bad. I think they were very good. I think they were just too heavily reliant on the heroics and theatrics of Steph Curry. They very rarely let Andrew Wiggins have a 30-point night or a 30-shot night. And that, to me, didn't make any sense. Then why bring him in? Let this be the season where he gets to go off and go crazy. So then when Klay and all these boys come back, you either have an amazing trade piece like you had with D'Lo, or you have someone who can really help you build toward the future. Just my humble perspective. When asked about his plans for the summer, LeBron explained he's skipping the Olympics for his Toon Squad commitments. I think I'm going to play for the Toon Squad this summer instead of the Olympics. LeBron had jokes at the end of the presser. When the WNBA side of Space Jam, A New Legacy, is doing relatively fine. Diana Taurasi and the Mercury have a winning record, albeit in the brutal Western Conference. Meanwhile, Nneka Ogwumike and the Sparks are struggling, but it's a little too early to call it a curse just yet. The real question is, who is motivated to curse the new cast? Who was evil enough to try and ruin both the biggest stars of the NBA and the Toon Squad, just out of spite? We've got a conspiracy on our hands, folks. Thanks to James Dater of SB Nation for the dope article. It's interesting. I'd like to see how many people got eliminated from the playoffs when the first Space Jam was made, and see if there was any correlation. Like, was Patrick Ewing, Muggsy Bogues, Charles Barkley, and all them boys also eliminated from the playoffs at the time early? Did they have bad seasons, quote unquote, relative to how their seasons normally play out? I think that's something to definitely check into and find out. I think it'd be interesting to know. We're going to take a quick break, gang. This is his ghetto point of view, bringing you the news, views, previews, and reviews with just a twist of his ghetto point of view. Ooh, ooh, ooh. We'll be right back. Yeah, we back. So the company Purple Throne wants to resolve all of the issues that we have with streaming royalties, with cryptocurrency. So, article is courtesy of Digital Music News, who says artists are doomed with paltry streaming royalties. Now, virtual currency upstart Purple Throne is devoting a model that uses cryptocurrency to fill the gap and better compensate content creators. Talk to a musician and you'll likely hear about a raw deal from streaming platforms like Spotify. Indeed, the number of artists pointing to the paltry paychecks, despite the millions of streams, is staggering. Yet the issue itself seems to be getting worse. Somehow the platform that puts millions of songs in everyone's pocket and billions into the pocket of investors, founders, and major labels has put little into the hands of the actual musicians. But is that necessarily the end of the story? Not according to Aziz M. Bey, founder of Purple Throne, and its emerging crypto platform, Purple Coin. Last month, Bey connected with Digital Music News to expand an idea that was gaining traction, a platform rooted in cryptocurrency that artists can use for music-related services. Example, access to concerts, video production, photo shoots, and access to other events and festivals, or simply exchange into fiat currency. Purple Throne doesn't function like a label or impose any contractual restrictions. Though Bey wants to pay artists and industry fair wage for their streaming success. At least those that occur on the Purple Throne platform. I wanted to launch a platform that would allow artists to emerge with greater levels of economic independence. Bey explained. He described Purple Coin as a platform specializing in paying industry-leading royalties to independent musicians, which is a far cry from the mission of mega platforms like Spotify and YouTube. Of course, artists don't get equity in Spotify, even if they rack up billions of streams. But what if they did? The model that Purple Coin is now pursuing. At this stage, Bey is focusing on a more exclusive artist platform, which is largely app-based. Artists pay $9.99 per song to upload onto the platform. Then success is rewarded with Purple Coin token distribution and other perks. Score a chart-topping song, for example, and Purple Coins spill into an artist account. This is a pre-ICO cryptocurrency, though the closed exchange will eventually go public with the intent to put money into the pocket of artists that joined early. On top of that, the Purple Coin platform also rewards high-charting artists with other benefits. That includes access to concerts, festivals, video production, and photo shoots. In other words, early believers who helped to build the platform could be justly rewarded, like those jumping into other early-stage concepts. But Bey is careful not to restrict the ability of artists to promote themselves on other platforms, including mainstream spots like Spotify. The only downside is that Spotify only offers exposure, while Purple Coin aims to offer something much more tangible. But the Purple Coin concept isn't only future oriented, meaning it's not just focused on the future. Bey told us that the artists can push their Purple Coin into fiat currency at any point, and that's excellent because there's been a lot of other platforms that started letting people get their currencies and stuff, but there was no date to when you'd be able to turn those into physical fiat currency. Like there's a site that I was on for a while. I still have a bunch of music on it, but I'm not as regularly promoting and uploading to it at this point because they kind of had to go down and they're trying to rebrand and figure out what they want to do and figure out how to make their currency how to continue to increase the value of their currency because they had a ton of amazing artists jumping on it and artists earned tons of tune notes, but nothing yet. It's still early in the game. Shouts to tune. That growth will alleviate some of the. But the Purple Coin concept isn't. Bey told us the artists can cash there at any point, but he hopes artists will stick around to enjoy longer payouts. And as the platform expands, so will the potential benefits. That growth will alleviate some of the pain points that motivated Bey to start Purple Throne in the first place. Prior to starting Purple Throne, Bey cut his teeth promising artists with emerging fan bases, but felt snubbed by a label system that offered little long-term career development and equity to artists. One of those artists is Staten Island-based Denise Bestman, who first splashed onto the scene during the 2012 Grammy Awards, but not on the main stage. Instead, Bestman snagged sang a brilliant cover to Adele's Rolling in the Deep during a Target ad, which reached millions of viewers. These days, Bestman is developing her career with Purple Throne and remains a top artist on the platform. Coupled with his frustrations with major streaming platforms, Bay also noticed that artists were doing it wrong by obsessing over clicks, likes, and stream counts. Artists are obsessed with Instagram likes, Bay joked, while pointing out obviously low paying rewards that platforms like Instagram offer artists. Offer artists. The solution to that problem wasn't to stop artists from engaging with their fan bases. Instead, Purple Throne wants to inject real assets into the process and potentially shake up streaming industry economics in the process. So shout to brother Bay, shout to Purple Throne. Check this out, this purple coin. That could definitely be a game changer, man. This is a really dope concept. Shout to Digital Music News for the excellent article. In other news, Lil Yachty and Bad Baby jointly invest in Jewish dating app Locks Club. Bad Baby and Lil Yachty are investing in a Jewish dating app called Locks Club. It is, if that first sentence sounds like I'm playing a game of Mad Libs, don't be too surprised. Celebrities and musicians are teaming up to invest in tech startups, live streaming, and new social networking opportunities. Bad Baby and Lil Yachty launched a VC fund called Scoop Investments, led by manager Adam Kluger. Scoop Investments' first opportunity is investing in Locks Club, a Jewish dating app. The app describes itself as being for Jews with ridiculously high standards. The developers describe the app as a virtual speakeasy hidden within an old school deli. Locks Club doesn't rely on algorithms like traditional dating apps. Rather, it uses actual human matchmakers. J-Date screams desperation. J-Swipe is just a piece of ish. There's a real gap in the marketplace, says Adam Kluger. I was just so surprised at how cool it was. Yachty and Bad Baby saw the passion when I was talking about it, and everyone started asking me questions. Eventually, I said we should come together and do it as a group. Kluger says he learned about Locks Club from friends who encouraged him to download it. Scoop Investments was born out of the group's interest in investing in Locks Club. Kluger has been managing Bad Baby since she went viral on Dr. Phil as the Cash Me Outside girl, helping her pivot to rap. Kluger started working with Lil Yachty about a year ago, transforming him from just a rapper to a mogul. Yachty has secured partnerships with companies like General Mills, Burger King, and launched his own nail polish line, among several other business ventures. Bad Baby is half Jewish and may participate in the marketing of Locks Club. Lil Yachty may also show up for launch events, but details of these appearances haven't been finalized. Scoop Investments is also here to stay. Despite being started for Locks Club, that's not the VC fund's only focus. Kluger says the fund will remain neutral on the industries in which the fund invests, focusing instead on specific companies. Everyone in the fund, between myself, Bad Baby, Yachty, and a few others, at least two people have to be able to add value to a company. Kluger says about the future investments. We're looking for opportunities that are financially sound, but we also need to make sure that at least two members of our group could really quarterback an investment and add value. Also, they can promote it, they can market it. They make people want to gravitate toward the company. So they're gonna have Bad Baby participate in Locks Club. They're gonna have, I guess, Lil Yachty participate in whatever other initiatives they have, and whatever their other artists are as well will do the same thing. So that's pretty dope. Shout out to Digital Music News and writer Ashley King for this excellent article. Mm-mm-mm. Okay, in other news, Amazon books Billie Eilish, her Kid Cudi for upcoming Prime Day show. That should be pretty dope. A three-part musical event is presented by the Amazon Music as part of Amazon's Prime Day celebration. All three episodes of Prime Day show will premiere on Prime Video on June 17th. The event will be available for Amazon customers to watch for 30 days, regardless of their Prime membership status. That's very nice. This marks the first time Amazon has made its musical performances available to non-Prime members. Prime Day shows view Prime Day show reviewers will see three unique performances that fuse music and storytelling. Each experience will last around 25 minutes each and will feature performances from each artist's latest album. Billie Eilish will sing music from her new album Happier Than Ever. Her will feature music from the album Black of My Mind, and Kid Cudi will perform sounds from the album Man on the Moon 3. Kid Cudi collaborated with International Space Orchestra as his backing band. That should be crazy. They're the world's first orchestra composed of a space scientist from NASA's Ames Research Center. Ooh. Amazon says these Prime Day shows events will also be available to watch on IMDb TV, Twitch, and on various Amazon devices. Billie Eilish is also launching a line of merchandise that will drop exclusively on Amazon on June 17th. Of course she is. She better, that's how you capitalize. That's how you make the most of the opportunity. Fans can shop a collection of t-shirts, sweatshirts, posters, accessories, and more. Amazon says Prime Day 2021 is taking place over June 21st and June 22nd this year, with the retailer will offer 48 hours of deals. And you see, I mean, it makes sense because if you're going to do a show virtually, one of the biggest things that people could always cop at a show that made the show even more lucrative for performers, being that shows is where they make a bunch of their money, is merch. And if you're a really big artist, you want to sell a ton of merch. So it only makes sense for Billie Eilish, somebody who's been seen as extremely stylish anyway, to drop a nice little merch line, a clothing line, along with being in this amazing uh, visual, auditory, or audio video experience that she's gonna be putting together. A little 30-minute set. Sell some clothes with that. Hell yeah. Don't be surprised if Kid Cudi and her also offer similar deals. Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they? Amazon Music is also offering 4 months of free to any new subscribers. The music streaming service recently changed its hi-fi offering to match Apple Music's no-charge hi-fi music offering. Anyone who purchases an Amazon Echo device will also get 6 months of Amazon Music Unlimited for free. All of these Prime Day events will definitely impact Amazon Music Unlimited's ARPU. But Amazon has deep coffers. Tons of money, tons of money, tons of money. That's why it's supremely frustrating to watch Amazon pay artists millions to promote its Prime Day celebration, but it won't license music for Twitch streamers. Licensing music for Twitch streamers would help ensure artists get paid. It would also reduce streamers' headaches surrounding the archaic DMCA policy Twitch has chosen to follow. It's hard to reconcile that one half of Amazon is so eager to work with the music industry while shunning the same industry with its game streaming service. Mm-mm-mm. Very interesting, very interesting, very interesting. Also, let's Scooter Braun faces a multi-million-dollar lawsuit after private equity deal goes sour. I mean, Scooter Braun has already been catching a lot of heat for everything that he's been going on with, had everything that he's been dealing with the lovely singer of the big song "We Are Never Ever 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 Getting Back Together. We are never ever 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 getting back together. Da 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 da. And you dance until we but we are never. Oh man, shout to Taylor Swift, yo. Listen, man. I'm just having a good time. I'm just having a good time. I'm just having a good time. Uncut White, she's having a good line. In case you haven't figured, I dabble in good rhymes, making dope singles and twisting up girls' spines. After a few shots of that liquid ecstasy, yeah, she dying to stand next to me. And once touching turn to grab, and we wake up the next morning trying to remember what happened. Let a smartphone, no, I taped it. Watch it back a few times and erase it. Roll a few ones up, all grape-ish. And we blast off. No spaceships. That was off my first album, my first EP, MHO Part 1. It's a song with this amazingly talented singer, Jalil, on it. I Take Two. Check that out. That's on SoundCloud. It's on a couple different places. Check that out. But anyway, yeah, man, Scooter Braun, to continue, shout to Digital Music News and Dilla Smith for this one. Scooter Braun faces a multi-million-dollar lawsuit from former Guggenheim higher-upper Peter Commissaire. Peter Commissaire, who spent a total of nearly 3 decades at Goldman and Guggenheim. That sounds very ritzy. Just recently filed a complaint against Scooter Braun, who sold Taylor Swift's catalog after only 16 months in a more than $300 million deal in November of 2020. The action appears straightforward as enough, as the plaintiff alleges early in the filing that Braun had aggressively attempted to hire him between 2016 and 2017 to establish and lead a firm called Scope Capital Management, alongside business manager and partner David Bolno. Commissar ultimately believed that Braun and the financial support that he allegedly promised to secure from the likes of Jimmy Iovine, who knows don't know, Jimmy Iovine, head of Interscope, had a big hand in Dr. Dre, Eminem, 50 Cent, Kendrick Lamar, The Game, YG. I mean, the list goes on and on. The Soros family and others. What? Was the real deal, the text discloses. As an aside, Taylor Swift in April of 2020 took aim at a live performance album that Big Machine Records released without her prior knowledge, including by criticizing Scooter Braun and his financial backers. With Alex Soros and the Soros family, you better not be talking about them Soroses. Come up missing. Better chill, Taylor. You will never be back together again. They will Humpty Dumpty that ass. Allegedly. Okay? Allegedly. Chill out. Allegedly. All right. Accordingly, Commissaire departed Guggenheim after a little over 8 years on the job, per his LinkedIn profile, and joined Scope as a CEO in April 2017. And besides settling a multi-million-dollar annual operating budget and salary for Scope and Commissaire for 3 years, respectively, Braun relayed that he could raise north of $500 million from the aforementioned friends, the plaintiff claims. Eventually, though, Braun had to explain to Commissaire, tail between his legs, how he had asked David Geffen, his supposed godfather, to invest in Scope, only to be told by Geffen that he did not view Braun as someone with whom Geffen would invest, the suit says. And as other deep-pocketed acquaintances that Braun name-dropped when wooing Commissaire also opted not to write checks to Scope per the lawsuit, the plaintiff maintains that the truth was that Braun's relations valued him as someone to socialize with as opposed to someone who they would entrust with millions in capital. Lastly, the complaint also alleges that Braun was at the same time working to secure an investment from the Carlyle Group on behalf of his Ithaca holdings, which BTS agency Hive bought for over $1 billion in April. Carlyle Group higher-ups cashed out of their Ithaca stake as well. Commissaire ceased receiving Scope paychecks around April of 2018, well before the aforementioned 3-year contract was to conclude. The lawsuit indicates, and departed the company in August of 2018. This is just messy, messy, messy. Signing on as CEO of Story 3 Capital Partners in the same month. These people don't be playing. They be jumping from one hedge fund to one capital firm to one management company to one holding company to one shell company to one investment firm to being on the board of this to being, the hedge fund manager of that. Man, these people don't play. They just dive in deep with the money. And it be the same circle of them. That's why, as you're hearing in the story, he's going after managers that are at other particular firms and trying to woo them. But headhunters look for those people, and those people are heavily sought after. So if it don't work here, I'm out, and I'm not going to be out of a job for very long, according to his LinkedIn profile. In a stark contrast to most other defendants in newly filed lawsuits, Scooter Braun this afternoon appeared to fire back against the complaint on social media. One day I woke up to find out that a guy who took $5 million from us years ago with zero results has now read a headline of our success and has shown up out of the blue to ask for more money. Gotta love a good opportunist. Unfortunately, we don't scare easy. Wish him well, penned the 39-year-old. Now backed to reality, a follow-up tweet reads. So that should be interesting. And if I'm not mistaken, Scooter Braun also does a lot of work with the Beebala. And lastly, Drake's More Life Growth cannabis brand was dropped by Canopy Growth and an $8.6 million loss reported. Smith Falls, Ontario-based cannabis company Canopy Growth, CGC, on the NASDAQ has officially ended its joint venture with More Life Growth, a cannabis brand from Toronto-born rapper Drake. 8-year-old Canopy Growth formally revealed the conclusion of its joint venture with Drake in a newly released earnings report covering the 12 months ending on March 31st, 2021. The parties publicly announced their partnership back in November of 2019, specifying that they were eager to develop a line of products focusing on the wellness, discovery, and overall personal growth, with a larger goal of facilitating connections and sharing experiences across the globe. And in its latest performance analysis, Canopy Growth, about 6.7 million shares of which belong to the Vanguard Group, according to Yahoo Finance, specified, and I guess this is a good company to invest in, guys. Canopy Growth specified that its total assets were worth $5.64 billion with a B as of March's end, with the fiscal year's revenue having improved to $501.61 million against the $363.18 million in 2020. Nevertheless, the company's net loss swelled to $1.38 billion through the 12 months ending on March 31st, which is weird because most companies had very good years in cannabis space. Bearing these figures in mind, Canopy Growth has wrapped its Drake partnership after roughly 18 months. Oh yeah, they said it wasn't making no money despite the rapper's continued music industry success, an estimated net worth of $180 million. And this is the conversation people keep having. Yes, Drake is an amazing artist, and yes, Drake, but do you want to be like Drake? Is there a lifestyle that is associated with being like Drake that is something that most men want to engage with? Even his female fans, is there like a lifestyle associated with? Does he dress a certain way? It seems like Drake just jumps in and out of flows, in and out of waves, in and out of styles, and that is great to have a long career and continue to be this person who can last the test of time. But the problem, some of the pitfalls that, or the flip side of that might be, from a glass half empty perspective, is like, yeah, you're so much of a chameleon that people don't know what to attribute to you as being uniquely Drake. You're so this guy who can jump in and out of styles, in and out of flows, in and out of fashions, that nobody knows when you're being authentically yourself and what makes you tick in the morning. What makes you, what do you really love? You know what I'm saying? And which is cool, that mysteriousness can kind of work for you in certain regards. but it can also hinder you when you're trying to build a brand up and be like, yo, this is something I really do. Do people go to the club and be like, yo, I'm drinking this because Drake drink it? Do people buy a pair of shoes because they like, yo, Drake wears these? Do they buy a t-shirt or a button up or a pair of pants because they're like, yo, I want to? It doesn't really happen as much for Drake as it does for other artists who really have a particular fashion sense, a particular style, a particular way they like to wear their clothes, a particular type of games they like to play, platforms they like to stream on, things they like to eat, etc. You know, some people have more brands that are more finitely and more definitively and concretely connected to their music. Drake's is it's such a it's so abstract, you know, because it transitions and evolves so much. Bearing these figures in mind, Canopy Growth has wrapped its Drake partnership after roughly 18 months. Despite the rapper's continued music success, it doesn't matter. Under the agreement, Canopy Growth sold 100% of its shares in 1955-625 Ontario Inc., a subsidiary that possesses a Health Canada license for a facility located in Scarborough, Ontario, to More Life. In exchange, Canopy Growth received a 40% stake in More Life, 60% of which belonged and presumably belongs to certain entities that are controlled by Drake. Said entities that then granted More Life the right to exclusively exploit Drake's related IP and brands, according to the earnings report. And More Life proceeded to sublicense the rights in Canada to Canopy Growth in exchange for royalty payments. But March of 2021 saw the involved business nix the license agreement per the document, and the Canopy Growth now intends to house an R&D division in that facility that More Life formerly occupied. According to us, damn, kicked them right up out of there. Moreover, the cannabis business listed impairment losses of about $8.51 million from More Life, besides derecognizing the remaining minimum royalty obligations owing to More Life at $27.82 million. Oh, so they still owed them some bread, but they lost so much bread working with them. The precise reasons for the Canopy Growth partnerships falling through remain unclear, as the 34-year-old rapper didn't appear to have commented publicly on the matter at this time of this piece's writing. However, it's worth noting that Canopy Growth in March of 2019 partnered with Vancouver native Seth Rogen to launch Houseplant, a cannabis company dedicated to product quality and consumer education. Furthermore, Canopy, I think Seth Rogen is gonna help him sell way more weed than, and then if it's gonna be like, yo, seeds and stuff to try to grow, yeah, that's gonna be crazy. Furthermore, Canopy also has an agreement in place with Martha Stewart, yo, Canopy Growth, guys, who was named the company's official strategic advisor last month. Separately, Drake in late April offered a $100,000 prize for the Ultimate Rap League Championship. Yep. Okay, I mean, listen, in Canada, he may have had more success with his branding, and they still owe $30 million out at the end of the day, so I'm sure he'll take that and figure out a new partnership, possibly with other companies out in Canada. CanTrust is trying to come back online, so maybe they could partner with him and, you know, try to use his name to try to build up their trust with the people again, or even Hexo. There's definitely some Canadian companies that you can work with in the cannabis space, and Hexo is HEXO on the ticker. It's like the second biggest Canadian company. Definitely something to check out. I'm not a financial advisor, just a company you might want to do some research on. Canopy Growth, as they said, CGC on the ticker. Definitely a company you may want to do some research in as well as CanTrust, but you'd have to invest in them in like the OTC markets, because they've had a lot of really controversial stuff come out with the having a lot of weed they weren't supposed to be growing, and then having it in these secret grow rooms, and then selling it on the streets, allegedly. So definitely something to look into. Canada is a very promising market. It's not going to be as big, it looks like, as the American market, but definitely any good investor wants to diversify. Take a quick break. This has been a very dope segment of his Ghetto Point of View. Please, guys, continue to donate. PayPal.me/Phantm Phuego, Phantm Phuego, or at Venmo at Phantm-Phuego-42. Phantm-Phuego-42. The number 4, the number 2. So once again, that's PayPal.me/Phantm Phuego, Phantm Phuego, or at Venmo at Phantm Phantm Phuego, Phuego 42. We'll be right back. Shit. Yeah, guys, as always, thanks so much for rocking and vibing. Please make sure to tell a friend to tell a friend. His Ghetto Point of View is absolutely the best podcast ever. You guys are the best audience ever. This is the best community to be a part of, to share, to discuss, just to get to it, man. And you guys make it all worth it. I'm actually putting together a Discord server, and I'm going to put the links to the Discord server and the description over the next few weeks. Give me a few days, gang. But yeah, man, let's start extending these conversations. Let's create the Discord room. Let's just chop it up, man. Let's just talk about a variety of things. There'll be multiple rooms in the server, so you'll see. We're setting it up, man. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be dope. So in crypto news, guys and gals, have you been okay? Have you been buying the dips and riding the wave? I hope you guys are. If as much as you can, invest as much as you can. Don't go crazy. Don't over leverage yourself. Even I find myself doing that sometimes, and I have to be mindful of that. Trying to balance taking care of things on a day-to-day basis with also trying to also look out for tomorrow and the years after that. So definitely invest as much as you can, but try to keep it within reason, within balance of everything else you got going on. So according to Cointelegraph, Bitcoin price due for break below 30K. Ooh, it's gonna be on sale, y'all. Trader warns after 9% daily loss. A breakout to avoid a fresh price dip would be a miracle, says Crypto Ed as storm clouds gather for Bitcoin bulls. Bitcoin trading worryingly near $30,000 support amid fresh predictions of incoming lows. Data from Cointelegraph Markets Pro and TradingView followed the Bitcoin US dollar. So when you see something that says BTC/USD or anything like that, you might see JPN/USD or GER/USD or GLD, which would be gold, or SLV silver, PLT for platinum. Like you'll see any of those things /USD. It's pretty much telling you what the price of those currencies, if they're currencies or commodities, are versus the dollar. So like you can have oil versus the dollar and how much it is per gallon in comparison to the US dollar. So if the price of oil goes up, then the dollar is falling. The value, the strength of the dollar is falling. If the price of the oil goes down, that means you can get more for a dollar. You can get more oil per dollar. So then that means the dollar is getting stronger. And then when you see that in comparison to other currencies, like you might see the Japanese yuan, and you might see versus the dollar. If the dollar is getting stronger and the yuan is falling, that means you can get more yuan when you convert your dollars to yuan, if you ever felt the need to do that. If you ever converted to yen or pounds, francs, literally any money, any country's money that you could think of, you always get to see, if you see that symbol or that country's ticker, if you think about it like a stock versus America's ticker, USD, then, it kind of lets you know, okay, versus the US dollar, this is how much I could get. And again, you could do that for commodities as well. And in this case, they're doing it for Bitcoin. So for right now, it would be 32,000/1, which would mean it would cost you $32,000 to buy one Bitcoin. Makes sense? Yes, no, maybe so. Okay. If you see it enough times, you'll get the hang of it. But it's pretty much telling you what one thing is valued at versus the other, and how much you'd have to pay for that thing in your country's money. You know what I'm saying? So instead of big, uh, article continues. No amount of good news was able to help bulls. And bulls, for those who don't know, lighten up that skrama, that za, lighten up that za. Excuse me. Lighten up that zaza. You know what I'm saying? So, for those that don't know, there are two major markets that most people, two major trends in the market, I should say, that most people pay attention to. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. I'm not even trying to play like I'm a financial advisor. I am very, very, very much a baby in this financial game. But I understand a few things, right? So when you talk about a bull's market versus a bear's market, bulls have horns. And when a bull is ramming or attacking, generally bulls lower their head and then strike. Lower their heads and then they strike up. And then they lowering their head and then striking up fashion. That's what you would call a bear market. I mean, a bull market. The market might dip before it does a rise, right? A bear market, on the other hand, if you think about how a bear attacks somebody, if it's mauling or attacking or scratching, clawing, etc., it raises its arms and then strikes down. So that's a higher market that's now going to fall. So if you think about that, again, a bull, it's down, the market goes up. A bear, the market's high, it goes low. So think about it just like a bull would hit you with its horns as its neck rises. So the market is rising. That's when they say the market is bullish. The bears, the market is falling or going down. And there are people who know how to make money either way when the market is going up or going down. There are some people who specialize in just making money when the market is going up. There's some people who specialize in making money when the market is going down. Hedging bets against the price of a particular stock or commodity falling. Crazy as shit. I know. Don't listen, guys. I'm smoking. Don't mind me. I'm out here getting high. But anyway, this is why I love doing this show, because y'all dudes, it's just, my audience ride with me every fucking way I go. I so appreciate it. So the article continues on Cointelegraph.com. No amount of good news was able to help the bulls with potential adoption breakthroughs in Latin America, conspicuously doing nothing to boost lackluster price action. So pretty much just saying, like, none of the news, because generally a lot of times the news can sway the price of markets up or down. If you have really good news, like let's say in the sense of basketball shoe, Brand Jordan, like let's say Brand Jordan, they like right when they signed Zion Williamson to Brand Jordan. Now once Zion really solidifies himself in the NBA and he gets his own shoe, the Zions is gonna go bananas. Number one, they're working feverishly on the shoe. Once they put out the Zion 1, Jordan know what he's doing, man. Let's just leave it at that. Nike know what they're doing. And it's funny that Nike connected both of the biggest names to come into the league in a while right to Jordan. They put LaMelo on the Charlotte Hornets under Jordan, and Zion signed to Jordan's brand. Look at that. I don't think that's a coincidence. At all. And the fact that all of the Ball brothers may be playing for Jordan soon, none of that escapes me as a coincidence. So anyway, the article continues. The United States Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen likewise failed to lift the mood when she voiced support for higher inflation. Instead, Bitcoin dropped to 32,000 at the time of writing, coming off a rebound to 33,000. For popular For popular trader Crypto Ed, the outlook was uninspiring and even included a trip below the $30,000 mark. It did the white ABC I posted before the weekend, he told Twitter followers, referring to a forecasted price rotation. Moving averages cause alarm as Cointelegraph reported traders are already on edge over a potential death cross involving two key moving averages that could spell further downside. This could extend beyond the short term. Cane Island Alternative Advisors investment manager Timothy Peterson noted, thanks to Bitcoin and USD now lingering below its 200-day moving average for almost 3 weeks, this metric has, quote unquote, always marked the end of a bull run and the start of a bear market or a bear trend, he added in the comments. I mean, we shall see. We shall see. Sometimes these markets make you think they're about to go down and then they go up. Sometimes you think they're going up and they go down. They call that a fake out. You know, like it can fake to the upside and go down, or it can fake to the downside and go up. There are usually a lot of indicators in the market that you can use, and also if you are a historian of the market and study a lot of the TNA or the technical analysis of the market, reading those charts and being able to read them for years at a time and go back and, you know, you can really start to, you know, see trends and patterns. And, you know, along with reading the trends and patterns, along with paying attention to the news, along with, you know, staying up on social issues and, you know, war, politics, because all of those things affect the market, business, medical issues like, you know, COVID-19, all of those things affect the markets. So it's, man, you gotta be paying, it's a lot to pay attention to. And thinking that you know just one thing or another. Like some people just know how to read technical analysis and they kill it like that. Some people just watch trends and they kill it that way. Some people kill it just trading, what they call trading the news. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of different ways to kill it, or a combination of all of those ways. I'm just learning, and I'm trying to put together my investment strategies that'll best serve me and my family and building wealth over the next, 20, 30 years going forward. We'll see what happens. Excuse me, drink a little water, but I'm always glad to have you guys as my family on this journey. So as I'm learning, you learning, as you learning, I'm learning, we grow together. As always, send any links, hisghettopointofview@gmail.com, hisghettopointofview@gmail.com, hisghettopointofview@gmail.com. If it's your first time listening, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Please continue to donate, gang, at paypal.me/Phantm Phuego. That is PHANTM Phuego, or at Venmo at Phantm PHANTM Phuego Phuego, the number 4, the number 2. This has been an amazing one, gang. I am so blessed and fortunate to be able to rock with you guys. See you guys on Wednesday. We out of here. Peace.